Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing tonight? I just was out cussing at my at my uncapper, trying to get it figured out. And I think I did get it figured out, but there's so many different little adjustments, and plastic frames are a little bit shorter than wooden frames, just a little bit, and a little bit narrower. So the problem is when the frame comes down, I'll use my phone for an example. When the frame comes down, there's these pins on the side. And if it gets going like this down in the slot and it doesn't exactly go straight, well, then it gets hung up on one side of the machine at the bottom, which causes it to go wonky like it did in the video. So I was trying to get it to go down level, and then I switched to wooden frames, and then it would do something crazy. So spent a lot of time messing with that out there, getting frustrated, and I think I got it, but I don't know if it's back to where it was or not. Plus everything was sticky. And the other problem could be that there's no weight in the frame. When I'm running a empty frame in there, there's no weight in it to help stabilize it, right? The weight will help pull down on it and keep it from going crazy. So Popcorn Charlie, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, you're muted.
I had to set the mic.
What's up, Charlie?
Not much. It rained here today, finally, after 3 weeks. I think I got that heavy rain that you got yesterday.
Yeah, it was a deluge. Is that how you say it? Deluge?
Yeah. Well, you got the raining pretty darn heavy here for about an hour or two.
And it was nice today, and then it looked kind of cloudy in the afternoon, and then I was just beat by the time getting back to work, and I was late for work. Couldn't find my truck keys for my work keys. So first day back was kind of crazy.
Hey, Jack.
And then went out to mess with the uncapper, right? Went and bought some tools to mess with it. I think I got the blade deal figured out with it cutting too deep on one side. Yeah. Just the set screw. Got the blades a little bit better.
Well, I watched that video on that machine, and the guy said it takes you about an hour to sit there and tweak.
Oh, my God. And then if you change the frame, is it like another hour? I mean, it's making me really want to go standard, just one size on everything and just run it that way when I'm not constantly having to adjust it. And then it's hard to do it with a regular frame because there's no weight to hold the frame. It kind of stabilizes, the weight does, as it goes down. But if it's empty, if it binds a little bit, or maybe it's an empty frame that had a little propolis on one side and it sticks, it really can be tricky. So but yeah, was playing around with that, getting frustrated out there on the porch. But we got the electricity out there yesterday.
Yeah, that was a big help.
So just starting now, I can go back and refix everything because I want to get my bottling tank and all that stuff out there. And we'll see what happens.
Hey, Blaine.
Had a guy come by and buy I don't know, $40 worth of honey this evening.
Yeah, I sold, I don't know,
but I haven't put it on Facebook.
Maybe a pound or two or whatever. But yeah, I went through my I went through a hive, the one that had a queen cell in it, and I'm like, I'm letting it go. I didn't want to fool with it, and it's got a queen. I didn't see the queen. All I seen was super young larvae and some slight jelly. And like I say, today was the first really good rain we've had in 3 weeks. And pretty much all the blooms, the poplar, locust, cherry trees are all done. So I've kind of come to the conclusion that, my flow is pretty much over with. It's always done by the end of the month anyway. So that's what, 2 weeks maybe?
Well, see, I thought that too. And then I went in my colonies and they were still storing and trying to cap it up. And I wanted to I want to shake my bees down. That's what I wanted to do today, but by the time I got off work, I just didn't feel like it. Go out there and shake them down.
I started this evening. Well, actually, yesterday last year I had I bought a scissors lip for my bottling tank. So from Harbor Freight, and rated at 1,000 pounds. So it's of course underneath my bottling tank, works fine. And I can roll it around or whatever if I have to, but I don't. So yesterday I got thinking about it. I'm like, I need another scissors lip. I used that same one last summer where I put my uncapping tank on. And for me, I don't have a designated room. I have a porch. So there's people traffic going through. So I need to be able to move stuff around and put it kind of out of the way. So there's a flow of traffic, as far as people coming in the house.
Right.
So I said, well, I'm going to go down to Harbor Freight, which is down the road from me. And I was looking I couldn't find the specs. There's one they had for it was 500-pound lift. Really didn't need that much, but when I got down there, it was definitely obvious. I wanted to buy the quote 1,000-pound lift like I had. It's not so much the difference in the hydraulic cylinder or anything like that. It's the fact that the difference between the 500 and the 1,000 is the size.
The bigger size of the table.
Table is like an inch narrower. The table only lifts 27 inches. Mine, the 1,000-pound, lifts 37 inches. The handle comes up and then it kind of curves back, so it's a nice pushing handle. And the overall, I mean, it looks like to me I would have to extend that cheaper model higher, more top heavy, a little narrower, a little more unstable. So I said, okay, for $120 more, I can get what I already know works. So I did. So I got my help guys that came for work today, and I took the forklift, and I mean, this thing is heavy just alone by itself. So we took it and got it in the house where I wanted it, and I put it together real quick. So it's there ready for my bottling or uncapping tank. And then this afternoon, I cleaned the floor up it's in the back porch, and swept it and vacuumed, and I got my rosin paper out. So I got it all covered up with rosin paper ready for extraction. And here, possibly, I guess maybe tomorrow, I'll get I have a pallet designate. Well, it was the one that came with the extractor. It's got a top to it and all. So I get to put the pallet in, and if I get some help, I got a guy that he's going to use my machinery, and I've been helping him, mentoring, and he's going to help me get my honey in. And so get him to help me get the pallet in tomorrow evening and get the machine in and mold it down, get it ready. So it's, by the end of the week, I got one of my club meets with the Baltimore Bee Clubs Saturday afternoon. So after that, we're going to do a meeting and a fun time gathering, but we'll also have sort of like a little bee club meeting.
Right.
So I'm going to take some things along and show and tell.
And
then after that, I'm going to start harvesting honey, get my
if you are in California,
yeah,
and
my honey rustler out.
I got a text today from Bennett Apiaries, and some of y'all may have gotten it.
What's that, Bennett?
Bennett Apiaries. They have commercial grade unassembled deep boxes for $10.75 a piece if you order more than 500. After the end of the week, it's going back up to $12.50. And then they have assemble. I mean, if you're, some people may be. When I look at 1075 and I see that price, it's great until I see that you have to order 500, and that's not great for me. So that's like 5 pallets, right? 4 or 5 pallets of them. So $10.75 times 500 boxes is $5,375 before shipping from California. So that's interesting. But the price is great. If they could do that over here on the East Coast, it'd be awesome. And I got a text from James today. Did you get a text from James today? Mm-hmm. So I know he is ready for his honey flow. He's all out of equipment. His equipment's all been used, except for, his honey boxes. He's got that set up.
Well, he said that on the video that he had got all the pallets, 2-way pallets he has completely used.
So he sent me a website, and I don't even know if I should show it or not. I mean, it's just a website, but he has been looking at extracting stuff, and there is a company in Canada that makes gear. It's called Sunnybee, sunnybee.ca. And one of the products they have, I mean, it looks a lot like a license line, but different, a little bit different. But it's made in Canada, so I'm sure they're proud of their stuff, just like we are here in the States, right? So let me see. They have 40, 60, and 120 frame size extractors. And with the deboxers and everything. And so it's pretty neat. I said, have you bought one yet? And he said, nope. Trying to figure out which one I should buy so I only have to buy it once, right? Which when you set yourself up the way that James has, right? Growing, selling nukes, and then you put yourself in a position to make that one big purchase, then good. If you can do that.
Well, is his plan? I know he's got that big job of his, and how many years does he plan to go for that retirement?
Well, I don't know what the rules are in Canada as far as retirement, but last I heard he was planning to go like 2 more years and to build up his colonies to where he needed to be able to make a good income and do it full time, right? And hope he gets what he wants on that, and he will. I mean, the way he's very methodical. He plans things out, unlike myself, I kind of shoot from the hip a lot, and
he's everything is on a schedule,
on a time schedule.
He's pretty much dead on.
And he will work himself to death to keep to that schedule. And there's something to be said about that. People that can do that are amazing, in my opinion. My thing is, with my situation, if without having bee boxes in my front yard, my side yard, the backyard, I'm pretty much where I'm going to be. You know what I mean? Until I get another spot or something to put bees on.
Well, I'll tell you, I had 3 hives at a guy's house for about 3 years. That was the biggest pain in the butt, because it wasn't that, well, maybe 5 miles down the road, but with traffic, it would take you 15 or 20 minutes to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And, you try to think of everything to take.
And you always forget something.
And you always forget something.
Well, I'll
Or
come back tomorrow.
you take everything that you think you could, and when you get there, you really don't need most of it, and you've lost. It's not so much the drive time.
It's the loading and unloading and everything.
The loading and the unloading, all that time spent, and you're tired and everything. And I was, he has passed away a couple years ago now, and so I don't miss that. I like having my own yard right next to the house, and I'm done. And I got a dozen honey hives, and I've got, most of the time I'll have 20 nukes, and that's, around 32 hives, and that's all I need. It looks like I went into one of the hives. It was that small purple one there, I think. And, to check to see whether we had a queen. And I couldn't see really eggs, but I could see really super young larvae and all. So I said, okay, we got a queen. We're viable. I had one good super on there. One of them I had put a 10 frame box of foundation, which they haven't done anything with. And I don't think they are.
That's kind of what I've been doing, starting to pull off extra foundation and stuff like that. I'm going to make this large. This is that 60 frame version of that line. So if you're looking for gear and want to look in Canada, if you've got a big enough operation, let's look at this little short video here. Probably can hear my phone. Foot operated, unboxer. Didn't really spin anything, but I guess that happens. I didn't even know this brand existed. One of the things I really like about here, it's all automatically but it's just takes the electric knife. I like those nubs are bigger than mine. This little plays nice music, doesn't it? I got wood in there. Great. Best building like that. I guess being up in why the video is doing that, but it is. Just that on the manual later, though. Anyway, that's that one.
It looks like a Cowan.
But I bet you it's cheaper than a Cowan.
I don't know. Everything seemed like to me up in Canada is super expensive.
How many easy payments of $19.99 is this puppy? Probably 100,000. I don't know. The Cowan like that is how much? 150 grand.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I just can't bring myself to go into debt like that.
You're not big enough for that.
No, I mean, even the smaller license line, that's 34 grand. I can't do it at one time. I have to kind of build that system. But now, even if I were to build that system, I can't build that system without getting a new uncapper, right?
The thing of it is, like watching that system, that's not the whole system, because you still have to have, I mean, if you look at Ian's, they got unboxer, uncapper, you got the drip tank, you got the extractor, you got the empty frame cart. You still got to get the honey and the wax from that extractor. You got to heat it. And then you got, like Ian has a Cooks and Beal wax separator that it's cutting the wax off and dropping it down and separating the honey out of that wax.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got to pump it to a holding tank. So that Cooks and Beal alone is $50,000, I hear. And you figure like Maxan has the little one and the big one, the wax capping separator.
Right.
And the problem with that is, yeah, it works, but then you got to stop it. And then you got to get your hive tool or whatever chisel out, and you got to break all that capping wax off of the walls of that thing and unload that thing manually, and then do something else with it. So I mean, it isn't automatic, that's for sure.
Well, even like the funny thing is the capping tank that I have, it's still dripping. Every time I go out there, it's like a whole bottle of honey comes running out of the tank.
I mean, I have my hive butler, and you can put, let's say you do, I don't know, let's say 20, 40, 60, let's say you do 60 frames,
right?
3 loads or whatever of frames. You're going to have that wax in there. And I found that's where that cart, you roll that cart over into a corner someplace and let it sit. And last year it was, it was 85, 90 degrees, where the honey would flow. And the top cappings would get kind of dry, and I would go with my hands and fluff them up, and the kind of break the cappings up so the honey would flow a little bit, and it would raise the honey level in that bottom of that tank. You could 2 inches.
Oh, yeah.
You could get another 10 pounds, but that took about 4 or 5 days, about a week.
And if it's warm outside, it really helps it, right? Helps
right.
it.
And then what I did is I kind of skimmed off the dry cappings where they were dried and the wax was still kind of wet on the bottom ones. And I would take off a 5-gallon bucket, not packed, but just dumped in by hand into a 5-gallon bucket out to my solar wax melter. And it worked fine and all. And I mean, that's the big thing about you can't be in a real big hurry. That's why you have a lid, just like you have a lid for your uncapping tank. Keep any contaminants out of it and give it a week to let it drain, and it'll come out of there. And I guess for me it was, I went from a 5-gallon bucket with that comb uncapper thing that snaps on, that yellow thing. And yeah, I got some honey out of that bucket, but the uncapping tank, I think that you increase the amount of reclaimed honey.
Oh, without a doubt.
The amount of honey that you can reclaim out of your wax cappings by just letting it sit there. For me, it paid for that tank in one season. It was $200. In your situation, a season or two, and it'll pay, the tank itself, the price of the tank, it'll pay for it. The bees will pay for it. The honey, as long as you're selling lots of honey and then you can sell some of your wax, it'll pay for all that stuff.
Joey sent me a video. It looks like he caught him another swarm.
Now in your honey rustler, it's, what is it, a 32-ounce bottle that you use?
Yeah, it's a Zep bottle. You just fill it up with half of this bottle that you got. Put half of that into a 32-ounce bottle. That's about what it is. That's what I did on that. I mean, it's about half.
Mm-hmm.
And then fill it up and shake it up.
Shake it all up.
And
so I don't know. Maybe this coming Sunday I might pull some honey. Kind of depends on the weather and how I'm feeling and how much help I got. I'm gonna pull at least 8 boxes of honey, if maybe 10. I got 40 boxes out there, so we'll see how many solid boxes we have.
Unassembled commercial grade deep. $11.50 a box is 125 boxes per pallet from the Bennett Apiaries. So they are located in where are they? I know they're in Northern California somewhere.
What about the company? It was a Hive Life that's in the Carolinas.
Which one? Miller Bee.
Huh?
Miller Bee sold a bunch.
Was that the one they got a factory? I think. What's the guy's name?
Are you talking about the one that Kamen was talking about?
No, it was Craig Branch, Sidelight Beekeeper. He went to there and got boxes.
I think probably Miller.
I mean, can't you buy a pallet of knockdowns there and get them close by?
Probably. Well, not close by. I'd have to drive probably 4 hours each way to get them.
Well, I'm sure you could drive there and drive there, lay over and come back.
North Wilkesboro, Miller Bee Supply. I know they had a good deal on them. There was another one up there that had a pretty good deal on boxes. That I think they were $1,300. It was $1,500, I think, for 100 boxes. And that's just half the problem. The other half the problem is putting all them bad boys together and painting.
Hey, Brian.
And
Watched your video, Brian. Look, those queens are looking good. You got some of Corey's queens.
Let me see. Still trying to get my Amazon thing cleared. So let's see. Oh, I got the Apis back in stock, a metric ton, literally. Give you an idea. I remember how full it was before.
Mm-hmm.
I got those 2 boxes, but I still got a box full of the small packs, so I got a lot. 5 honey boxes, $20 a piece. Yes, Full Metal Jacket is on. Well, if I would have drove to Alabama this weekend, I wouldn't have pulled the honey, and I wouldn't have got my porch electrified. So I had to make the sacrifice this weekend. So at least now I can start finishing the room. I really need to put a light switch in there, and run the ceiling fan to the new electric that's on there and not in the house. But if I don't, then it's no worries really with it. But yeah, it makes a big difference. I don't have to run an extension cord for the refrigerator. I can plug that right into the wall now. Uncapper right into the wall. Everything. So I got plenty of outlets. I could even put in a phone charger out there for Chris when he comes up, because it's the drill sergeant part. I love that. I love that movie, Full Metal Jacket. But yeah, the as far as I know, my colonies are doing pretty good. I pulled about 8 gallons. 8 gallons this weekend, plus the other 8 gallons or so. So I'm probably at, I don't know, what's 16 gallons times 12? 16 times 12. We'll do the math real quick. 16 times 12.
You got 120 plus.
192 pounds ish, right around 200 pounds. So nowhere near what I had last year at this time, but I can't say that because I didn't pull by this time, right? And I did pull some in the spring, and I've got I'm going to give it a few more weeks. There's plenty of nectar in the boxes. It's just not capped. It's not ready yet. So I'm going to have to go back and do it again.
Well, take your refractometer out there and test it. It might be 15%. Now, for us up here, it hadn't rained for 3 weeks, and people are talking in my area, where it's, if you get it around 16 and a half, 17%, that's perfect. You get it down around 15% or less, it's not coming out of those combs very easily because it's too thick.
Yeah, if I do a shake test and it don't come out, I normally would pull it. A couple of them I did a shake test and you get 1 or 2 drops, not that big, and it all falls. So I probably could have got away with some of that, but I just left it. I was too frustrated, and I didn't want to pick through 60 colonies, 1 frame here and there, right?
No, my stuff I don't have frames. I got boxes full of cap honey. Now, some of it where I did 9 frame, they did not draw it out. They just capped it off, and that was the end of that.
So I figured if I could get 1 medium box worth of honey off of.
See there, Brian's talking about 15 and a half. Yeah.
And, this week, since it's by myself, I'll pull my truck and just start filling up boxes, and doing that. But some of my honey frames had brood in them, so that was another issue. So
yeah.
So just issues. If I could just get one box off of 40 of my colonies, and some of them I've gotten more than that, and some of them are deep frames. I'm just talking about medium boxes. That's what 1,200 pounds ish, and I'm nowhere near that. I'm about 1,000 pounds off of that. So yeah. So if back to my original, if I can just get back to my what I made last year at this point, I'll be happy, because I feel like I'm going to have a lot more colonies coming in next year at the beginning of the year, and that should help me out. But
I don't know. I think maybe next year.
See, now you can buy the cheaper one, not for creamed honey like I got. Still heated, but it uses 110. But it doesn't matter. He's got that inverter. I don't know how many he can run on that inverter that he bought.
Mm-hmm.
But Brian needs to pop in one of these. He's been too busy to get on. I saw his queen battle video. Thank you, Mike Trevis, for your order. Let's see. Mike, go ahead and...
Did you have an order for some honey? Was it honey? No, it was honey. No, it was your queen lure. Somebody up around where I live.
Was it on Amazon? Or was it on my website?
I don't know. He comes in here. What's he's called? He's called the Honey Compound or something like that. He's Northern Harford County, Maryland. I'm sure I know him, but I don't know the name.
Is his first name Dale? Nectar?
Couldn't tell you. I don't
know. That's the last bottle of swarm lure I sold on my site. Was on my birthday last week. Hey, matter of fact, while I'm sitting here, Mike, did you mean to order the sometimes people mess up and they order bioactivator instead of the control. The bioactivator is for use in pollen patties, so I didn't know if you meant to order that one or not, or if you meant to order the one for your sugar water. Assuming that you're watching right now. I think you are. Found a queen walking around my robbed out frame. She needed water and honey. Had a hive that was queenless and put her in. She went straight to the honey and bees didn't go after her. Cool. Patties. Okay. Just wanted to make sure, because the names are kind of confusing. And if you're like me, you don't always read the packaging before you order. All right, print that out. See, we do shipping while we're sitting here. So you're gonna pull honey this weekend?
Maybe. Well, it depends on the weather and all that kind of stuff.
All right. Printing the packing out. I'll get this packed out right now. I actually need to order some more of these things.
What's that?
These little bubble mailers. I had let me see. I had donated to that 4-H club, and then he turned around and bought a bunch of stuff from me. So that it came back to me. do good things, and sometimes they pay off for you. Charlie, you seem tired, brother.
I'm tired a little bit. I went to bed early last night. I didn't stay up for.
Well, hey, Jeff. Oh yeah, you would have skipped shipping, because for what you did yesterday, I probably would have just gave it to you. But I went to Tractor Supply, and Spanky had said that you could buy buckwheat seeds and all of that at Tractor Supply, but not at my Tractor Supply. So it might have to be an online order. I was gonna buy a bag of buckwheat and take it out there and go to my neighbor's lot over there that's vacant and spread the wealth.
Who did you? What was the guy's name that you were telling me that it might be that bought the swarm rustler?
Dale Nestor.
Nestor,
Nester, Nester. I've had and Amazon. I don't really get. I see the name, but I don't always see that. Amazon is just falling off the planet, bro. Nothing happening over on Amazon for sales wise. That's for sure. Laying workers today. Dump them under my truck tires. I need to go through some of my nukes and some of my smaller swarms I just left in the pro nukes and see if they're even growing. Oh, okay. I thought it was you, Spanky. I'm sorry if I put that on you. I went to Tractor Supply and was looking. They didn't have it for sure. Well, there's different kinds of buckwheat from what Spanky was saying. Yeah, you gotta put it in the freezer. After you open it up, even if you seal it, I would throw it in the freezer. Keep the moisture from getting in it. 50 pounds, $60 from storegreencover.com. Buckwheat. I don't know. Is that a seed you can just cast, or do you actually have to put it in the ground? Because I was just gonna cast it out and let it grow.
He says McCann buckwheat.
I'll go down I'll even go down the sides of the road in the ditches. I'll throw it in the ditches. I don't care. Just cast. Okay. Man buckwheat. Oh, but you pay the shipping. I got you. So, I don't know. We'll see. I got to find out, does that stuff grow in shade, or has it got to be in full sunlight, or what? Charlie, how do you do your extracting? Ziggy says.
I've got a Man Lake 18 frame extractor, radio extractor. And then I uncap with a Maxant honey plane. And then I just use one of those stainless steel honey sieves for the 5-gallon bucket, and it comes out and goes through that, and the bucket gets full. And then after I get done that bucket, usually I have 2 sieves, and I will put the new one in and then take the other one and take a hose with a squirter on the end of it and nozzle and squirt it out all the wax, fines and stuff. I don't do anything special. I don't have any uncapping machine like Bob has.
You could have.
I could have, but I don't have a place for it. I would have to have a dead
It's got wheels.
do
You
a
can roll it
video.
anywhere you need it to be.
Well, actually, if you look back in my history there, I did do a video last year, but I'll do it again this year. And all. I showed them how I used a lot of times the uncapping plane, they're supposed to go down the frame, and I actually go across. I find it, I don't know, I just started doing it that way, and it just works better for me.
Well, hey, I'm going to tell you this. That video on that uncapper makes it look like it's really easy to adjust that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really easy to adjust it. I mean, like the piece, like the board that it slides down, it's got 2 bolts on it, but you got to have 2 wrenches. So how can you support it up where it needs to be? You need a third hand to do it. So it's kind of, Charlie, what are you waiting for on that lift? That's what Brian said. Brian, get in here. What are you doing?
The honey lift? Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Maybe I should just take out a loan and go ahead and buy this. Just
why, Ziggy? You. I mean, I'm nothing. I'm no big.
That's what you need right there, Charlie. Just buy that.
Yeah, right.
Get it done.
I don't have enough honey. You know, something like that. You got to have.
It holds 40 frames.
Right, but you got to have a couple hundred hives.
7 to 10 minute extracting time, 280 RPMs, built-in uncapper with feeder.
I go out, yeah. I'll go out and way I do it, Ziggy, is I'll go out and pull about 8 boxes, maybe 10 boxes. Enough I can get done within 3 days. That way, if there's any hive beetle problems, which I don't normally have hive beetles or any wax moth, but I have had some where I had, in past years, I've pulled it all, maybe 25 or 30 boxes. And by the time I got to that last box, there was one frame in there that looked like to me might have been a hive beetle or wax moth born through the wax. I wouldn't extract it, So I learned not to pull so much. And that way you're not worrying yourself and you're not pushing yourself like, I got to get this done or else, because it's going to go bad on them or whatever. Well, pull off what you can do in a nice, comfortable time frame.
Let me see. This says that system is 16 foot by 4.5 foot wide.
Mm-hmm. You gotta have a honey house.
You gotta have a building to put that thing.
Yeah, it is.
My porch would not fit that. That's crazy. But it says that's minimum building size is 16 by 4.5. It says 11 foot by 22 foot plus additional space for honey tanks, pallet maneuvering, and storage.
Mm-hmm. And it's like power to you. It wouldn't be worth the cleanup time and everything else.
Cleanup? Who cleans up?
I don't clean up until I'm done.
Right now, I can't clean the uncapper because it's dripping honey still. And by the time it's done dripping honey, I'll probably be pulling more honey to drip in there some more. The hive lifter.
Yeah.
Charlie's just going to surprise us one day. It'll probably be at Hive Life. He'll get a deal at Hive Life next year and buy it.
I wish that guy would come to Hive Life so I could sit there and check him out.
He's in Canada too, right?
Yeah, he is. He won't come down. He's not, what would you say? He's not pushing the issue, I guess. I don't know.
But that the machine is actually making me reconsider plastic frames.
You like the plastic versus the wood, or what?
The wooden frames, the machine likes the wooden frames much better, it seems like, because they're just a little bit longer, and that helps out with the machine. But other than that, I mean, I like it. I just wish I could have ran it more. So, you could pull, if you pulled 10 bucks.
I see what that thing is. It only holds 5 frames.
What's that?
It only holds 5 frames. I like where if that thing had like that one video where you could put 10 frames in there.
Yeah, that automatic one you could
just keep capping and capping, spinning the handle, whatever.
If you had two people there, one spinning and one loading them in, that would be the optimal way. And drying out in 8 days, it must be real hot up there. Just fill them back up. Fill them back up. They were lasting longer when I was testing them. But it still has scent in it. Let's see.
Where does James live?
Michigan.
That's right.
He's in Michigan. Let's see. How many people we got watching right now? 54, and then we got 19 thumbs up. I was hoping Brian would come in here. I want to hear what he's thinking about this other tank now. Or with this other... I need someone to come give me about $1,400 for this steam uncapper and this other uncapping tank.
What, Brian is?
No. Brian's talking about getting another bottling tank.
Yeah, but who wants to buy the steam tank or the?
No, that's what I said. I need somebody to come get it and give me about $1,400, and we'll call that a day. And then you didn't have to pay shipping. I ate the shipping and a little bit on using it the one time, the actual steamer and stuff. But that way I recoup a little bit of money off of that, and otherwise I'll just use it. Who knows? Maybe one day I have enough need to run two uncappers, or maybe I run the deep frames on the big one and the medium frames on the little one. But I got more medium frames now, so I'm probably going to start phasing those out. Maybe Charlie needs some medium frames and boxes.
Actually, I do.
But then I have to buy them all over again and start the wax all over again. So I was thinking about just using.
Didn't you buy a bunch of Acorn medium, brand new stuff?
I just bought a box that I filled up some supers with, but they're not filling those supers right now. So
no, I put those 5 boxes on here a week or 2 ago, and the flow's over with. It's done, So that's 5 of them. I just take them right off.
I got a guy 3 miles from me, and he pulled some honey today, and his honey's dark, and mine is this color. Yeah. And cancel that. I already paid for shipping on it. Already packed and shipped, paid for. But you know what? I might be able to. I don't know how I can do it.
No, stuff. I don't really have a fall flow. There is some goldenrod that comes in. Now the bees will get the nectar out of it, or not the nectar, but the pollen. But we don't really get a fall nectar flow. Now, a friend of mine who's about 20 miles up north of me, close to the Susquehanna River and all, they have BB trees. They have maybe some, what do they call that? Oh, some other type of tree up there. And they do get a fall nectar flow, but I don't. I'm pretty much limited here.
Let's see. Yeah, they just. Let me see. Did you do your Colorado visit? Yeah, I think he went out that way. I talked to him on the phone. He's driving all over the place. Stuff he is. He's a truck driver as well. I don't know how I can do this now that it's shipped.
I think I am. When it comes to honey flow, I'm done for the year.
Everything they get now is you're going to leave on there?
I got April. No, I don't leave anything on there as far as honey goes. I pull everything off and then I'll start feeding. Now, last year in August, we got this honeydew in from the spotted lanternfly, which most everybody, huh?
Poo honey.
Yeah, poo honey. I left that on there. Now, some people have been selling it and they love it, the people that are buying it, but it was like a super honey on each hive. And I'm like, that's that much less sugar I have to buy. So I left it on there. And if it happens again this year, I'm going to leave it on there. And, I can buy 500 pounds less of sugar, and I'll feed them sugar with some Apis biologic in there and go from there. So what I'll do is I'll extract honey here in the next over the next couple of weeks and get that done and put the third medium brood chamber box back on. And if I have to feed them in August, when that's usually our dearth, July and August, like I say, last year there wasn't. So I did hear that some of those bugs are in the area. They're infant size bugs. They're not fully done yet. So if it does, we'll let them have it. And then I'll start feeding in the fall and come, I'm going to say July this year, if the weather is as nice as it's been, I'm going to start treating with some Apiguard for 3 weeks. And then that'll take me into August and close to September. And I'll do some Formic Pro for 2 weeks. And then come later that fall, I'll start doing oxalic acid a couple times a month if possible.
So either I'm going to have to, how am I going to do this? Do I have my razor blade handy? I'm going to have to cut this open, try not to cut the package out of it, put the other package in, then tape it, and hope I don't, because either way, I'm going to lose money or you're going to lose money one way or another. So let's see how this is going to work. See if I can do this professionally and then tape it professionally with my Scotch packing tape here. So there's about a $5, $6 price difference in these two products, Mike. So I'm going to try to help you out. All right. So activator out. Bio control in.
The control is the sugar water powder.
Mm-hmm. But if I have to reship it, then I got to pay for shipping again, right? So the price difference between the packet would have made up for, well, not would have made up for some of the shipping. Win some, you lose some, I guess. I don't even know how to cancel an order on this website thing because this is the first time I've ever had that happen. All right. So it's going to look ghetto. Just letting you know. Got almost 400 pint jars that will satisfy my local as long as yeah, I wouldn't. You're going to get that much honey, 400 pints? I wouldn't sell anything down there to Florida. Matter of fact, if I'm low, I buy it from you right here. I am running. I'm worried about not having enough for my customers. Matter of fact, the stuff that I've already pulled, people have been buying it up quick as I can get it in bottles, just about. And I haven't even posted it. The guy down the road, the one that I talk about, don't listen to anything. He calls me and asks my opinion, then don't listen to anything I tell him. That guy, he pulled some honey today and bottled it. And I think he got, I can tell you. He said that's all he pulled, what was in the picture. And he posted a picture on Facebook. And I think he sold it all. Looks like he's got 9 pint jars. 9 pints. And I think they're all.
How many pounds of honey are in a pint?
1.5.
So that's a $15 jar.
Yep. So 9 times 15, $100 and something dollars. Oops. 9 times 15.
Mike says, what does he send me what I owe you?
Oh, it's like $6. $6. I don't know how to bill you for $6.
Yeah, Ziggy, I haven't bought, but in the past I have bought from other beekeepers that I know and trust and have good quality honey. And or at least the honey is it is the same as what I bottle up. And all that. Yeah, we can do all that kind of stuff. Like Bob says, the bee police are not around.
Well, the funny thing is, he makes it a point when he talks to me about his honey, right? That he don't feed his bees, right? Well, you also don't have 60 colonies there, brother. You got 4. You know what I mean? You got 4 and you don't do nothing to them. So
see you later, Lee.
That's why you're calling me all the time, ask me what to do with your bees.
What do you mean he doesn't feed them any sugar water in the wintertime?
They don't feed them anytime. And you don't treat them. So it's like my colonies all died. I went queenless. This, that, you know. I'm like, well.
Oh, duh.
So, I mean, I talked to him.
I don't know. That's like I watched this young couple. I think they're in Tennessee. And they're learning. And I can see, I'm like, she did not know what piping. Somebody said, well, I heard the queen, I heard the piping. She had to look, she admitted it on video. She had to look it up to see what they were talking about. So if that's the case, you know, they didn't go to bee school. And, you know, she's reading books, which doesn't cover everything. And I commented a month or so ago, and I said, you know, they had a patch of brood about yay big, 3 or 4 inches in diameter, hardly any bees. And I says, you know, go back to the basics. I says, you know, check for eggs, larvae, and cap. You know, you obviously got capped. And it went over her head. It was like, well, you know, it takes a while for them to cap. And I'm like, you don't get it. I didn't respond. I just like, okay, if you don't know what I'm talking about by, you know, looking for eggs, which is your first sign of a presence of a queen, you know, and they didn't even know what they had drone comb, burr comb on top of the frames. They didn't, they really didn't have a clue to what that was.
I see pictures all the time on Facebook where there's like wax moth or small hive beetle larva
Yeah, I've seen that too. And I'm like, come on, people. Beekeeping is not easy. It's very challenging.
Hey, Michael, if you're going to go up in price, this is the perfect time to go up in price because everybody knows everything's gone up. Fuel's up, jars are up, feed is up. You're driving from yard to yard to yard, your equipment. I mean, a lady came and got a
Two
pint.
for 25, I'd go for two for 30. Ain't no discount in honey sales.
I don't discount nothing.
Nope.
If they don't buy it, the next person will, or they'll be back in a couple months or whatever.
Nope.
Hey,
Todd, what's happening in California?
I mean, the lady bought 4 quarts. They were $30 a quart. She gave me $120.
Yeah.
And, then there's people like the guy I was just telling you about. He sells his for $13 a pound right up the road, but he don't get that much. So, I mean, he doesn't get that much honey. So he'll sell all his today and be done.
It's like Todd up there, or not Todd, but Brad up there in Canada. He said he's never had any honey left over in his amount of honey that he does, thousands of pounds. It's just,
it's some of the stuff you see online. It's like, I mean, how did you get into beekeeping and you didn't do any? I mean, like no research at all. Just bought bees and put them in a box and nothing,
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't sell it this year, well, this year I don't think it's going to be a problem selling all my honey because it's just not a very good honey year. Hey, Rodney, at least not for me, so shouldn't be a problem.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I have honey left. Do I have it left over? No, I just haven't sold it yet.
Right. You got honey that hadn't sold yet. I like that. You still got.
I got 25 gallons in the honey tank, bottling tank, and I got another 5 gallons, 50 some pounds down in the hot box, waiting to go into the honey tank.
There's somebody in Georgia selling beeswax for $5 a pound, and big giant blocks of it.
And I think about 6 is about the going rate, I think. Some people say 10, but depends on who you're selling it to.
It is interesting that the way this year has really gone, as far as with the bees. I won a box of bees and knew nothing. Do what?
Yeah.
I have honey on back order. Yeah, I mean, that's it. When
it comes to me, like I'm saying that I have, I just haven't sold it yet. My game is like, I don't want to run out of honey. I want to go from one season to the next. And that's what my goal was for over, I built myself up to that. And, started a single breeder chamber management, and I doubled my honey production. And from that point on, I haven't ran out of honey. And I don't really want to buy honey from other beekeepers in my area. I mean, I've been in the past years, I've paid $6 a pound, bulk.
Yeah. And that's kind of where I was when I first started. I was buying more, and then it started getting less and less. And last year, I think I got 1. So 600 pounds was where I was last year. But now the problem is every year, more and more people know you're selling honey.
You need to be up to 800 to 1,000 pounds a year. That way you just go to the bottling tank and bottle. And then, I always keep a certain amount of, let's say I keep 10 1-pounders on hand, and same thing with 2s, and about 4 3s on hand, and about 4 to 6 bears here lately. Now, see, that's the thing. Usually bears don't sell. That's 8-ounce bears.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sort of a product that is like, well, I'm not sure about your honey. Let me get a bear because it's cheap. You know, $5. I'll spend the $5 and take the chance. And then once they get hooked on it, it's like, oh, the heck with that. I want a 1 or I want a 2 or whatever pound jar. And here the last week or so, I think I've sold 4 or 5 bears. And normally they just kind of sit, and I'm selling 1s and 2s and 3s.
Well, I found that the pint, people here like the glass jar.
Cajun there.
I've been knocking on the doors of the beehives, giving them eviction notice if they don't pay up. I think they're living. I know, right?
That's funny.
I don't sell. I mean, right now I don't sell any. Well, I guess I could say I sell it by the quart, 3 pounds, right? I don't have any 2-pounders. It's 3 pounds.
Yeah, but now from what I'm gathering, when you are talking, it sounds like to me that in your area that people really eat honey a lot.
It's starting to look that way. I mean,
they're all saying they're telling you, don't you have anything bigger? Well, if you can sell quarts all day long,
it's cheaper for you. You make more money because the jar, a quart jar, and
you're not getting 3 pounds.
Well, you know, they're getting I'm getting $30 worth, $30 for it. I know that much.
And what is that? Jars of what, $1 or more?
Yeah, something like that.
They're a dollar and change.
Yeah, $13 and something a case.
Yeah, $12.
Let's say $1.25. So it cost me
and then on top of that, you know, you really don't. The clientele, I think, that's buying that, they know what they're getting. You don't need to put labels on there.
My pints very rarely get a label on it. Pints or quart. The quarts I sold didn't get labels. Matter of fact, I was going to sell her. I was going to sell her pint jars, and I started doing the math. Well, if I sell her 8 pints, I've got $8 in jars. And if I sell her 4 quarts, I got $5 in jars. So I made $3 extra, you know?
Yeah. That's like the lady that comes here. She brings her own, I think they're half-gallon mason jars. And
they're like the big pickle jars?
Well, not like a pickle jar. They look like a mason jar. They're about the size of a mason jar. Now, let me go out and get one. I'll show you.
And so the bigger you can sell, really the cheaper it is for you, because you're getting more weight into the thing if you can get a cheap quart. But pints sell really well for me.
There it is.
Yeah, it's like a half-gallon.
It's a ball. And she gets these here 1-piece lids. I call them half gallons.
I think that's about a half.
And it holds 5 3/4 pounds.
So it's like 2 quarts. Half a gallon.
Yeah. And 2 of these is $115.
115?
Yeah, it's $50, $57.50.
And you sell that by the pound?
Yeah.
$10 a pound or more?
10.
And that's 5 pounds of honey in there.
5 pounds and 3/4.
Well, I mean, I sold the same thing. I sold 2 of these, makes 1 of those.
Yeah.
And that was $60 for 2 of these.
Yeah. I could, you know, if you want to make it even money, but this is her stuff. I look at it this way. It don't cost me any in the jar.
Probably made the same amount of money.
Yeah. I mean, all I did was fill it with honey, you know, and she's paying me my rate, you know, and then she brings all her jars. and all that stuff. And she buys like $400 worth of honey a year from me. And she gets it kind of like all at one time. Well, over a period of months. So she doesn't run out in this wintertime.
I went to my local Dollar General and they did not have those cases. I'll need to go to a different Dollar General, I guess. You give them $1 off, they bring. No, I'm $15 for a pint. I didn't go up. I didn't want to. I like the even numbers, even though 15 is an uneven number. Changes $5. I don't have to count a bunch of ones. And if they get 2, it's 30. So that's even. 1 pound, 10, right? So they get 2 is $20. That jar, his customer brings it. He's disappeared. I'm eating orange slices from Tractor Supply. Go ahead and start rotting the rest of my teeth out so I can get them pulled out. Let me see. Hey, Jeremy, how you doing? I saw your box. That was a good looking box. I was just looking at it, and now I can't find it. Hey, Todd, did you see do you buy anything from, hold on, let me pull their name up again. I got a text from them today. Bennett Apiaries. Bennett Apiaries has deep boxes on sale for $10.75 a piece if you buy 500 of them. I did buy some one-piece lids, but these are to plug my migratory cover holes I'm going to put in there for feeders. Got 3 boxes. And these were made in China, stated very clearly on the label.
Hey, Queen Bee, I seen your video today. Looks like you had some success on your honey or queens.
Time to add insulation.
I guess it's the hot, isn't it in Texas out there? I think he is. Maybe
Yeah,
it's
you're in Texas.
insulation against the heat.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, if you buy a pallet, that's it. No, it said 500 boxes, which is 4 pallets. So you got to buy $5,000 worth.
109 degrees. Jesus Christ.
We had that kind of stuff last year. This year has not been like that. It's 75 degrees right now.
That's more like
tomorrow. 84 tomorrow.
It was hot and humid today, but it did rain and it's supposed to be cooler tomorrow. In the 80s.
8 p.m. tomorrow is supposed to rain for a bit. Overnight rain. But sunny all week, Friday 91. And then when I can get back out to the bees, 88 and 72 and 87 and 69 on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, come on.
Hmm?
He's coming on. I can stay for a few more minutes. I got to get to bed.
Just be like me. Be late to work. Lose your truck keys. Bad start to the day.
I don't know. I don't know. I was tired and sore, and I went to the gym yesterday. Yesterday was Sunday, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Worked out trying to get this here SI joint thing straightened out. I'm sore today, but I have to say, I think even just one time I've started to feel some positive outcome of it. Some of the leg pain has the sensation, I guess you would call it, of leg pain around my sock line has diminished. It's still sore there, but and then I'm sore around the pelvic area there from working out, but I figured, that's why I took off tonight. Yeah. Todd, I was doing that one where, hey, Jeremy.
Hey, how you doing?
And Todd, I was doing the one where you kind of cross your leg over. I had modified it by laying down on the floor and hooking my leg on a wall.
You're just practicing those kinky positions. That's what you're practicing.
Yeah,
getting freaky.
Like well, anyway, it pulls the hip muscles and whatever to stretch it out, and it definitely has helped. And then working out at the gym on these abductor machines has helped. And then Todd, the guy that you sent that video of, I watched the video explaining what is happening with the SI joint and the nerves and all that. So understanding that better has helped me, start to cure myself. So Jeremy, what's happening?
Oh,
I know you went out. I watched part of your video there where you went out to your 4-way boxes and looking at the queens and stuff.
I was supposed to do can y'all hear me okay?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay. I was supposed to do a lot of stuff this weekend, but went to the farmer's market Saturday morning and had to leave a little early. I started feeling under the weather, and I finally ate some food this morning, so I missed work today, and I said this afternoon I got to at least go look at these mating nooks to see how they're doing. And I only got 10 out of 15 mated from my grafts, but I'll take them. Like I said,
you got 10 queens.
Yes, sir.
I need to graft. That's better than a big zero.
Right. I need to go ahead and graft another 40 to 60 more. Make a lot.
The only thing I seen was that one there that you showed that the queen was in there, but you didn't have no bees in there at all.
Right. The very first one, but she was on the opposite side, and the other side was just full. I don't know if it was drift or what.
I'd say it's drift.
Yeah. But I mean, like I said, at the end, out of that box, 3 out of 4 made it. So what I ended up doing is, I put nooks. The only thing I didn't like about the 4-ways is I like to move them to actual nooks, and that's more for just getting your queens mated. So, I had to stagger some nooks, and then I just shook the rest out and let them kind of go where they please.
Find a place.
Yeah, so hopefully that boosts them up a little bit. Normally I would like to, boost them up with the frame of cat brood or something, but I just
did you put queen cells in them 4-ways?
What's that?
Did you put queen cells in there?
Yes, sir.
Now there was a guy, he actually moved to Texas, back to Texas where he come from. He was in the military. And he made actually, I see, what was it? No, there was another fellow here, and he had a observation hive in his house. And he was watching TV or whatever, and all of a sudden the bees just went berserk and made so much noise, they actually could hear it and get his attention. And the queen was piping, and everybody says, the queen goes out and stings all the queen cells that haven't hatched.
Right.
Actually, what happened was that he observed, and that is the one who was piping, the worker bees went nuts, and they started tearing down the other queen cells that were in that observation hive.
Right.
And stinging. So then the guy who was he was listening to this, he says, well, that's interesting. He says, for food for thought, his name was Joe, and he says, you put 4 queen cells in 4 different compartments, or let's say 3 compartments. So let's say if one queen starts piping, are the other bees in the other compartments going to hear that and tear down those queen cells?
Right.
And there goes your acceptance rate.
Right. That is pretty neat.
That's kind of interesting.
Yes.
So maybe you need to try an experiment where, let's say you do a 3-frame individual mating nuke, or let's say take a 5-frame and only put 3 frames in it.
Right.
And put them in a circle or something like that, like you had them in there in your video. See if you don't get a higher acceptance rate.
Oh, I believe so. And that's probably what I'll do more in the future. Like I said, because now that they're in nooks, I'd rather just grab them, move them to another place instead of having to, let them grow slowly. But as far as
I've made up a bunch of 2-frame mating boxes, right, individual boxes, with vent hole, air vent holes underneath the bottom and migratory lid on top. I made it so I could put like a Gatorade bottle up there for a juice bottle, but then sometimes they would get to leaking and all. So then I took a pint jar and I would put the metal feeder lids on them with the holes, little round holes. And then what I did was you got the sunlight coming in, and especially at your place, even worse. And you have that expansion contraction, and it's going to sit there and pump juice on top of your bees and drown them. So I made a box that it was like a square box that you set over top of the juice jar. But then on the 2 side boards, I actually extended those boards down that went past the sidewalls of my mating boxes. Okay. So it held the lid on, and it held that box on from being knocked off, and it kept the sunlight and the bees away from that jar. And I did it that way. I mean, it's a little more involved, but
yes, sir.
But anyway, I would get some 5-frame nukes.
Oh yeah.
Put a small entrance in. My entrance is only like 3/8 by 3/8.
Yes, sir.
Maybe it's 3/8 by 1/2 inch wide. I think it might be just enough for a few bees to to protect it, because it's a weak hive. And then I would go with 3 frames of bees. And around here, what I do is I lock them up for 3 or 4 days. They forget where they're at, and that's home base.
Right. And
then when you open them, I have all it is a block of wood, and it raises like that. And I open up the gate, as I call it, and they'll fly out. They'll come back. Right. And then I put my queen cell in there, or you might start virgins. I mean, that's what I like. Is I haven't did it this year much, because I don't know, my queen season's over with, and between a bunch of different things happening here, I just wasn't able to get out to do my queen ring like I wanted to.
Right.
And but I have done virgins in an incubator, take them out of there, put them in cages, and then direct release them into a hive that's been queenless for a few days at least. Right. And they see everything that I've done so far has worked out. I did do some virgins here in my honey hives, and I had a couple of them maybe didn't make it, but I don't know. Maybe they didn't return because of bugs or birds.
Right. Yeah. Our hard part is the wind right now, when we get the windstorms. But as far as what Tex is asking about the honey flow is, I'm surprised right now, because last year I harvested everything before Memorial Day, and I probably harvested 250 pounds so far. I have at least another 700 pounds on colonies, but I just do a couple boxes here and there. But going out there today, I was able to see the mesquite is blooming for the second time. So and it's actually blooming better than it did the first time. So those nooks, that one that you were talking about, that first mating nook, was the smallest one. The rest were jam packed. I had one swarm on me, and a lot of them were getting honey bound. So luckily, I had a whole bunch of drawn comb, and that's what I was doing, was putting them into 5-frame nooks with drawn comb and 2 drawn comb, the 2 comb that they had, and then 1 foundation. And the nectar flow is still, I mean, it's kicking butt even now with the
Where you had them laid out at? I've seen some of them look like abandoned buildings and stuff like that. Is that like out in the middle of nowhere or something?
No, that's actually in a neighborhood, but they have 7 acres, so it's just an old shed. And it's about 5 minutes.
What I'm getting at is you can put bees out there with people not messing with you.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, and out here, people don't really mess with bees because they're really aggressive. And in the news, you'll see people die at least once a year or every other year out here. But most of the time, they make a big deal, fire department, blah, blah, blah. So people, they know not to mess with bees. But yeah, I mean, the really only downside is, they have a bad reputation. So for the most part,
because of the Africanization of,
yes, sir. But I mean, I've been getting calls, 3-4 calls for removals every day, and I just forward them on to my buddies because I'm too busy.
Did you?
I'm not up.
Did you see the swarm in Times Square?
I did. I saw that. I was like, wow.
A bunch of bees trapped inside the building areas,
right?
All the city buildings, and they were flying around in there. And they called the fire department with the lift and the beekeepers to get the swarm. So it was pretty cool little video I saw on it. But yeah, man. So I don't know. I've got honey on the colonies as well, and they just haven't capped it up yet. And so I guess in 2 more weeks, I'll go out there again, see if it's capped or not capped, or kind of determine if I'm running behind the season or on the season. Because like Charlie said, his is over. Some people are saying theirs is over, but I still have privet blooming on the other side of the street and mimosa.
Yeah, that's the thing. You recognize what is blooming.
Right.
So where I don't have, everything is, all my trees that I depend on are done, and it's been dry. And I have a catalba tree, which is like a real white blossom looking tree. Not that the bees really, really hammer it that much, but because it was so dry, the blooms are they're gone, totally gone. Right. And today we got a really super strong storm. And it rained here a couple of days ago for maybe 10 minutes. But I think that was Friday it rained. And then today it really rained a lot all afternoon, which is fine. And it rained a little bit too hard. But on the other hand, like the grass behind me there, it was up high enough after we had harvested first cutting, and where I think it held all the rain that came down today.
Yeah, this has been one of the most wet years we've had here in West Texas. And
now you're talking about that. What is it? What was blooming? You say the
mesquite?
Yeah, is that a tree or a bush or what?
Both. So there's a couple of variable types of it, but you've got a bunch of brush, but you've also got the mesquite that could get pretty thick and 20-30 feet tall. But they're the same thing. It's an invasive species, and it's the same thing that people cook. We make our good briskets with mesquite wood, but they're called honey mesquites. And I'll have to show some pictures. But like I said, especially yesterday, today, noticing them, that second bloom is doing way better than the first bloom. And it's crazy because I went to go harvest honey, getting ready for the farmer's market, thinking it was going to be all mesquite, and most of it was wildflower. And we've had wildflower still, which is crazy for West Texas in the desert. Wildflowers are still blooming, but the mesquite is finally hitting hard to where I need to start adding more boxes to get more drawn comb. But my downside is I'm supposed to be making splits already. I'm supposed to be having them draw another box of foundation to get ready for cotton in a month. I put my bees in cotton literally 4th of July, and that's irrigated cotton, so it's controlled. I know I'm going to get a cotton flow, but this is pushing me 2-3 weeks back where I probably won't make splits, or if I do, they're going to be getting honey bound or this, that, and it's putting me behind on stuff. But it's been a great year so far. Now,
the cotton that they grow, is it like original cotton, or has it been modified?
So this is the one that's I believe this is the original one. So this is the one where you get a great nectar flow from.
A nectar flow, where the other stuff probably doesn't give out anything.
Right. And the honey itself from cotton, I love it. The smell, the color, it's almost clear. And I mean, it crystallizes in 6 weeks, but
really,
we still eat it. I still eat it. I mean, people love it here. It goes quick.
Well, you can turn it into, like Brian there does in Flower Street. He can turn that to your advantage, make crystallized honey out of it.
Right. And mesquite's the same way. Mesquite will crystallize super quick. So I got to send you a bottle, Charlie. You too, Bob.
Yeah. You got to come to Hive Life this next year.
Yeah, that's the goal. So, I was planning to last year. It was kind of last minute, but
you lost no tickets.
Right. And
you better get them this year.
I was living in Middle Georgia, so I wasn't too far. And then my twin brother lives in North Georgia, so we could swing by, drop off the kids, go to Tennessee, and enjoy it. So
yeah, I had brought some 1 pound bottles and we'd given out to everybody that was on the stream, that we know, and everything. So yeah, it's interesting. That's like Lee and Bob and all of them. I got different honeys, like the tallow honey, which I don't, we don't have nothing like that. And I'm the head of my bee club. And so we had a tasting party, I guess you would call it, for the club meeting. And I was like, oh, this is going to be a real bummer, but actually people loved it. And I brought all these different honeys from across the United States and Canada. James gave me some Canadian honey from the West Coast and from where he lives. And, I had, I don't know, at least a half a dozen to a dozen different styles of honey.
Right.
I should have brought my own honey out there that night, and because they were tested. Well, this one here is tart, or this one's here is a little bit different, and
right.
And all that kind of stuff. So even some of the Maryland honey, I had one off of the Eastern Shore from Bohemia Bees, and it had a different flavor. Now he's in an area where they do a lot of vegetable type farming,
right.
peas and watermelon and cantaloupes and all these, big fields of it and stuff and all that. So it was like I say, it's quite interesting from the different types of honey people, like this mesquite, that's interesting. And then you're saying wildflower, which could be a whole different set of wildflowers that what we have probably.
Oh, way different, I'm sure.
Whatever
thrives in the desert. Cactus, Indian blankets. We're actually got a lot of Indian blankets out here right now, and a lot of stuff I don't even know the term.
Yeah, I don't even know what any of that is, Indian blanket or any of that stuff.
Oh, they're a pretty little flower. Hey, Todd, how are you, sir?
Great. How are you guys doing?
Doing good. Well. It's early for you. I forget you're in California.
I just got home a little while ago. I just chowed down real quick and decided to jump on.
So what's it, about 8 o'clock?
It's 8:15, yeah.
Yeah.
But I can't stay on long. I have homework.
Homework?
Yeah, from work. I have to write reports. So
I didn't go to work today, so
I wish I didn't.
What do you do, Jeremy?
So I'm a controls engineer. I do automation and controls, a programmer. But now I'm just doing it for the oil field, easy. Before I did it for Amazon in California for a little bit. And then I was at Frito-Lay in Georgia. So I had a big old factory out there. So I just do programming, robotics, easy stuff.
hey, if anybody needs 2 weeks off, they got this. I saw this TikTok, and if it was on TikTok, it's real, right? So you get a COVID test and you put Orange Crush soda on it, the sample, and it makes it read positive every time.
See, well, before we used to get paid for it, and now if you get it, you don't get paid anymore.
You don't get paid anymore?
Not anymore. So the first time I had it in 2020, it was during deer season. So I went hunting for I had no symptoms. I had nothing, but they said I had it. So I went hunting for 2 weeks paid, and I enjoyed it. But
yeah.
Let's see. Just checking my.
So what about your bees and stuff, Todd? Are you done honey harvesting out there, or is it just starting?
Well, I'm kind of in between right now. I'm waiting for tallow and privet. Privet, I was over there this evening because I had to make sure my queenless splits are going to be ready for Mark's bees or queens when they get here tomorrow. But when I was opening other hives, I could smell the privet. So I know it's starting. I just don't know where it's from because the privet trees at the farm are not blooming yet. The buds are there, but they haven't busted open yet. So orange obviously is way done, but I still have a couple colonies where I have it on there, and I was thinking about leaving it out there so when I do make more splits, I could use that, those frames for food frames, but I don't know what I'm going to do. So other than that, it's
so
the weather has been so strange here. It's really weird. Saturday and Sunday, it was overcast most of the day. Saturday, and believe me, this might not be a big number for a lot of people on the East Coast, but about, I think it was 12 o'clock or 12:30, I looked on my my phone at the Weather Channel app, and we were at 45% humidity, and that's crazy high here. I mean,
Really?
Yeah.
If it's 50% or less, it's like, oh man, this is great. When you get up to 60%, then it gets a little sticky. Yeah. And then when you hit that 70, it's like, man, this is unbearable.
Yeah. See, normal around here is 10 to 15%. 15's high.
Yep.
But your heat is higher though.
Yeah.
And instead of
now I'll have 50% humidity at 75 degrees, and it's a beautiful, cool day, just a nice, comfortable day.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. That's the difference. Yeah. It's drier, but people say, like in Texas, or like one person was visiting there years ago. Oh, it's a dry heat. I says, let me tell you something. 100 degrees is 100 degrees, whether it's dry or wet.
Yep.
I don't know. So in Georgia, compared to West Texas,
that humidity down there is horrible.
That's
right. It's humid, but I'd still rather. I don't think the humidity for me is bad. So I was in the Marines too. I was in North Carolina, all kinds of stuff too, where humidity, I sweat more, but the dry heat, it feels like your skin's just blistering. Just from 110 degrees, you just stick your arm out.
Yeah.
I'm dark even with sunscreen. I mean, I'm gonna get burnt either way.
See, I lived in Missouri, Southwest Missouri for 5 years. And every time the humidity hit, I think I said this before, I'd start getting rashes on the inside of my elbows. And after about a week, I'd be used to it and it would go away, and I wouldn't have it until the next year. But out here, your skin starts blistering when that sun hits it, and try going out the next day.
Right.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Well, I guess that's like if you always notice like the folks over there in the deserts and stuff in like the Sahara and places like that, they completely clothe themselves up without just their eyes, and everything is in white sheets, and that's I'm sure that's the reason is they'll burn something terrible,
Yeah.
So
maybe that's what I should do.
Hey Bob, real quick, are you able to show what mesquite blooms look like?
Yeah.
Or can I share a screen, or I don't know how to do all this stuff.
Yeah, hit present.
Are you on your phone or are you on a computer?
I'm on a laptop.
Oh, you should be able to do it.
So if I go to downloads, I might be able to. These aren't the best, but let me see if they pull up first. I just emailed them to myself.
I just ordered some oxalic acid while we were sitting here and some more bubble mailers.
So present, share screen, maybe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or share window or share tab.
Okay.
It says share screen.
Let me see if I could open up in a tab. I don't know how to do this stuff. I'm supposed to be tech savvy and I don't know how to do none of this.
Just ordered 5 pounds of oxalic acid for $22.
All right. So this is down the street from me. This is more of the mesquite brush. Can y'all see that?
Yeah, it looks like a tree, or is that all ground?
That's about 12 feet high, but that's more of a tree brush.
Okay.
But you see all the blooms everywhere on there?
Mm-hmm.
And let me see if I go to the next. There's some more. You can see that is mesquite.
It's kind of a bush, kind of a big old bush.
That one is, yes.
Giant.
And like I said, there's a difference between the actual tree ones where they'll get, 2 feet thick trunks compared to that. That's more of the bush type.
Yeah.
They have thorns. You drive over them. You got to have 10-ply tires driving in field, or you're going to have thorns all through it. They make actual beans, after they bloom, and then people will use those beans to feed their animals. They'll make like a honey jelly since it's honey mesquite, they'll make a jelly out of those beans and stuff. But that thing does great. I mean, out here for us. So.
You guys get mimosa down there, Jeremy?
I don't believe so.
It kind of looks like the tree looks like a fern.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's going crazy over here. You can't go a mile in the country without seeing one.
That right.
Oh yeah, people have it every.
We had one in our yard, but that was planted more as I'll say an ornamental tree.
This one says why you shouldn't grow mimosa, but that's kind of what it looks like right there. That's a small one. Mine are like 30 foot tall.
Yeah, ours was bigger than that, but it's weak and it breaks and
you get all those flowers that fall off. It's a messy tree.
Yeah, it looks. Let me remove that and I'll share what the flower actually looks like. This one, I guess. Yep. It's like this looks pink and white looking flower.
It's like a starburst.
Yeah. I got these all around my yard. And they go crazy. And if they drop seeds, they'll grow anywhere they land.
Yep.
So the bees are working them though.
Oh yeah.
Put in dry freezers to save my brood comb.
Just stack up boxes with some paramoth.
Yeah, the moth crystals.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do.
Just put it on a piece of cardboard and start stacking them up, and it kind of mashes them down into the cardboard and seals the bottom.
Yeah, so about every 6 boxes, I'll put a plate with a little bit of crystals, and then I'll stack it all the way to my ceiling, just because I hate having wasted space.
I'll put a telescoping lid on the bottom, and then place one of those foamies that Ian uses, and then when I put the box on it makes a seal, and then I'll get up about 4 or 5 boxes. I'll put a queen excluder, then I'll put paper plate on there. I'll put some more on there,
Right.
and then just kind of go like that, and I'll tape them. I'll take masking tape and tape around the outside. I guess I could use that clear wrap, that plastic wrap, but I don't know. It works for me, and then I just let them air out for about 2 weeks, and they're ready to go.
Right.
That's for honey supers.
Uh-huh. Well, I'll do brood comb too if I,
Yeah.
whatever I have.
My
Whatever.
supers are brood comb. I run all deep, so
Yeah, I use these off the Amazon,
okay.
and it's the same.
Active ingredient.
It's the same thing,
Yeah,
except it's not crushed up.
Dichloranzapenzine or something like that.
That's the one.
And now the other one starts with N. Nye something another. And I always tell people, and I used to my rhyme or whatever you want to call them is like, if it starts with N means no.
No.
And but anyway, it's for a closet, but it's got a cake in there, and just unseal it, and like you said, I put a stack, and I just put one of these up on top of the bars, and
I bet that's a lot cheaper too.
Yeah, I don't know. They weren't that much to it. I got them off of Amazon. I think they're at Walmart. These are Walmart or Amazon, ones too. And so, I got there's old McNally. What's up, everyone? Huh? I'm getting ready to leave here.
It might get interesting.
A pound of paramoth crystals is $38 from Man Lake through Amazon.
Let me look at Walmart.
Paramoth balls. Let me see. Moth prevention powder. Moth trap.
This stuff here is ENOZ. Moth cake.
Ooh. Well, they did take a price increase like everything else. A bag of moth crystals that I get at Walmart. Of course, now they don't show it says $3.88. So I'll use about half of that. It's 16 ounces, so I use about half a bag on one plate. The next layer, I use the other half. And then if I need to get more, I get more. So $4, same thing.
Moth ice crystals.
Correct. Yes.
By Enoz.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, ENOZ.
Yep. And if you have carpet beetles in there, it'll get them too.
Amazon Choice. They've got 1 pound for $6.44. Enoz moth crystals. Of course, don't know if they got it. It's not Prime, but the Prime ones are more expensive. 99 cents an ounce. You can get a pack of 12 of them for $103.
Let's see.
Is that from Amazon, Bob?
Yeah, Amazon.
25-pound bag of sugar is still $16.57.
Luckily, I haven't had a feed yet since early spring.
Me neither.
So I just I bought everything to make the pump like Seth has, but I haven't even put the pump together since we still got this flow. And then right after this, I have a flow starting next month. So
what's all this mixing of sugar y'all are talking about? I don't have to do that anymore.
Mine are getting Robbie.
Why not?
I buy it from Domino already liquid.
Oh, yeah.
Liquefied.
He gets the leftovers from the tanks.
$10 a 5-gallon bucket of 2-to-1. So mix it in half. $5 or it's $1 a gallon.
That ain't bad. I'm in the middle of nowhere, so.
Yeah.
I want to up my offer, Bob, to 5 cents a mile if you want to deliver it to me.
5 cents a mile.
I think I started at 3, but I'll change it.
2,500. But is that including the sugar?
Well, yeah.
5 cents a mile times 2,500 miles.
I better be careful.
That's a whopping $125.
I'll take a tote then.
But yeah, I was just trying to see if there was any Amazon. Yeah, there you go, Amazon. 50-pound bag of sugar.
How much?
$77. They got one left in stock. Y'all better jump on it.
That's wild.
You get 50 pounds at Walmart for $33.
Domino cane sugar.
33.04 actually.
Yeah, it's sugar is high. They're out of stock at Walmart and Amazon. Is out of sight for moth crystals. Yep. Anyway, guys, it's 11:30 over here. Charlie and I must work tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got members marked 10-pound bag of sugar. Pack of one.
Oh no.
$21.49.
Oh.
Golly.
That's including shipping, though.
Uh.
So if you live somewhere where they don't have sugar, James just got, there you go. There's some bee stuff coming out, coming right there.
Make sure you get some Apis.
Yeah, I know, lots of it, about $2,400 worth of it. That's about what I got in today.
Is that pretty good?
What, Apis?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, you don't watch Ian Stepler's videos?
You got to try it, Jeremy.
I do, but
you gotta.
It's steroids for bees.
Well, I'll tell you what. There's stuff I use from a guy out of Visalia, California.
Visalia, yeah, I know. I know who you're gonna say.
And I like his stuff. Bradshaw.
Yeah, David Bradshaw. What's that?
Millifera Boost. And I actually visited his place last year and did a walkthrough and everything with all his stuff. But
he's 40 minutes south of here.
I really like that stuff, especially in the summer heat when bees look like they're turning into chalk brood and just the heat, they're dying. Boosting them with that, I'm a firm believer.
What is it? What is it?
Millifera Boost. And Jose, the California beekeeper, has a few videos on it. But it's just like an antibiotic, like a supplement. It's just powder you put on top across the frame.
I've seen that white powder, yeah.
It's like DFM.
And it's great. I bought a 5-gallon bucket's worth, and I still have plenty. And I haven't had to use it now. Usually I use it in the summertime or right before winter to boost them up. But since I'm on a flow right now, they don't need any stimulant right now.
What this does is take your syrup that you're mixing, and it makes it mimic floral nectar. It gives it all the vitamins and nutrients and floral nectar.
It turns it into nectar. And I'm
just buy one pack and try it next spring. I'm telling you,
let me warn you.
It's crazy.
Let me warn you, because I fed 4 gallons of these hives.
Charlie was a naysayer too. I'm not feeding any of that stuff.
And my brood chamber is 3 mediums. Okay. And normally comes springtime, which is March for me, end of March. The bees are in the top 2 mediums, and the bottom super, the third one, is empty. Basically, you might have a handful of bees in there. Not this year. It was bees from the bottom board to the top, and I mean, I'm not talking just bees. I'm talking overflowing with bees. I was like, where in the world?
It is crazy. It's amazing.
Well, good. I'm going to do that.
I mean, it's when he says it's rocket fuel, it's rocket fuel.
I might buy a pack right now, Bob. You just listed some, right?
Yeah, I've got it on my website. It's not on
Go to his website.
Be careful with it. I mean, I'm serious.
I've got some
stuff.
Yeah, I've got some bees on watermelons, and they're even further in the desert. They're in 2 hours away.
Yeah, but I mean, this is where you feed them. If you have to feed them with sugar water or something,
right? And that's what I'm going to do. Is I need to feed them for a couple months before the cotton out there blooms. So stimulate them with that while the watermelons are blooming.
So there's 2 different ones.
4 weeks.
One is the activators for going in your pollen patties that you make, and the control is for use in your sugar water.
Okay.
And now, like,
You don't use much.
I mix up
Oh,
40.
man.
I do 40-gallon batches of sugar water,
Okay.
and the way I calculate, I got to look at my notes again, but it's one measuring tablespoon for 40 gallons. That's it.
Oops.
That's it. Just a little
Yeah.
bit.
You don't need much.
You don't need much.
So this
40 gallons plus maybe a quarter cup along with that.
this pack will make 265 gallons.
It is like the deal of deals in beekeeping right now. I am not kidding you. That stuff is gold.
Now I got that one. There's one I got, and now he does have a, what is it, the 50-gallon one?
Yeah, it does 52 gallons, but
it sounds like I mean, don't you mix up a lot of fluid?
Basically, well, you could get away with dumping that whole package in a tote. It's what 200, depending on the tote, it's 250 to 275 gallons. So you can put one of those packages in there, mix it up really well, and boom, you're set.
I'll probably get some here after this.
Actually, what I did was I went to like the Goodwill or something, and I bought a mixer with a glass pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll put in a teeny bit of that stuff in and mix it up, and then I'll pour that into my syrup and then mix that.
Because that's what I did over the last weekend is I've got some quart jars on my nukes out there, and they were, I don't know, they just, she's laying, they're laying, but they're not all that great.
Just in my mason jar, fill it up a little bit with water and shake it, then I mix it in my buckets, right? I just put pieces in my buckets and let it go.
But what I did was I have Pro Sweet from Man Lake, and I use that because the bees can't smell it, and as far as any robber bees,
right?
So what I did was I put like 16 ounces of water in an old blender, is what like Todd's got there, and then I filled it up with Pro Sweet, and enough to make a quart. And then I put a quarter of a cup or a quarter of a tablespoon, teaspoon, whatever, one of the measuring things, just a little bit in there, each one of them, and which is probably more than what it needs to be in there.
Right.
And then blend the hell out of it. And then I filled up my quart jars, and then I put them on my hives. And I'm kind of giving an experiment. I mean, they had nectar in there. They had honey in there, open nectar and some capped honey. And I'm like, okay, well, let's see what a quart jar of this does.
Right.
We'll see whether they're going to store it or whether they're going to go bonkers on it.
Oh, man. Let me guess, they went bonkers, right?
I don't know. I just put them on there. They drunk about that much out of the top of the jar so far. So, but it's been so dry here. So it rained today. So, they're looking for water. I'm sure they'll go down to the, I have a pond, but there's a sawdust pit there that they like that, where the water soaks into the sawdust and they can land on the top of the sawdust and then get the minerals and stuff out of that sawdust that leaches out of the wood and all. It's kind of really neat because it's like the hives are up on the hill, sort of like, and there's a driveway, and you can see the tanker bees. They're going down and back. If the sunlight hits them just right, you can kind of watch them. They're going back and forth from the water spot where they're getting water, and it's pretty cool. So, all right, it's 11:30. I got to get off, guys.
Yeah, we got to go.
All right.
Jeremy, come on my, Friday nights at 8:00. You can come on mine.
Okay, I'll be on vacation. We're going glamping in Central Texas or near San Antonio. Cool. So,
no problem.
We'll be on Lee's channel tomorrow night, so come see us if you're around and available.
Okay, sounds good. Thank y'all for having me.
Oh yeah, man, anytime. Just click the link and jump in.
All right,
we do it.
See you later.
See you guys later.
Yeah, have a good one.